Very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the news at 1 p.m. on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Charity Jerome. First, the news headlines. Federal government approves 6.2 billion naira for maintenance of Third Mainland Bridge. Federal High Court marks 50 years of justice delivery. On the foreign scene, Egypt accuses Ethiopia of buying time in Nile Dam row. While in sports, Coach Ancelotti says Madrid versus Chelsea tie not over. Details of these and more coming shortly. The federal government has approved the sum of 6.2 billion naira for the maintenance of the Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos State. Briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting at the Presidential Villa, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, said the move aligns with the Executive Order 11 signed by President Muhammadu Buhari in April 2022, given legal backing to the country's national maintenance policy. According to Fashola, the 24-month repair will cover 11 kilometers, including interchanges, ramps, and critical links. He added that there are no anticipated prolonged closures during the works.
Some of you might ask, and I was asked before, that we did some work on the Third Mainland Bridge before. Where are there potholes now on it? So this contract responds to the potholes that have become manifest on the entire pavement of the deck of the bridge, spanning 11 kilometers, and the interchanges, Adeniji Adele, Adekunle, and Bagada ramps that all link the bridge.
This is coming 2 weeks after the Lagos state government says it would undertake rehabilitation works on the 32-year-old bridge to repair failed and peeled asphaltic sections and substructure. Similarly, the federal government has approved the procurement and installation of luggage scanners in all railway stations in Abuja, Kaduna, and Kano. They include 8 color imaging X-ray scanners, 8 body scanners and metal detectors, as well as 50 handheld scanners. The Minister of State for Transportation, Ademola Adegoroye, who briefed State House correspondents after the week's Federal Executive Council meeting, said the procurement will cost 495 million naira. According to Adegoroye, the new installation was part of the federal government's ongoing program to enhance railway transport safety.
The Federal Ministry of Transportation had 2 memos today, which I presented on behalf of the ministry, and it had to do with the provision of scanners at all railway stations all over the country. You would all agree with me that in view of the importance of security of lives and property, that such equipment has to be installed at our railway stations. We are starting the railway revolution. We are trying to put in place a lot of things in the railway. We don't want people to come and damage all that government has been trying to put in place in that sector. Scanners cost 495 million naira.
Sincerely apologize for that. Moving on, though, the Federal High Court will today mark 50 years of justice delivery in the Nigerian judicial system. The Federal High Court, which was established on April 13th, 1973, was formerly known as the Federal Revenue Court and began with 4 judges with a president as its head. The court was, however, renamed the Federal High Court by Section 228 and 230 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1979. While Honorable Justice S. Olambo was the first president of the Federal Revenue Court and served between 1973 and 1975, Justice John Soho is the 10th and current Chief Judge of the Federal High Court. The court, which has grown structurally over the years, presently has divisions in all the states of the Federation, including Abuja, where its headquarters is located. The House of Representatives Committee Chairman on Disabilities, Miriam Onoha from Imo State, has officially joined the speakership race for the 10th House. The lawmaker, while declaring her interest to journalists in Abuja, also urged the federal government and all political parties to declare a state of emergency on the dwindling numbers of women in parliament. Honourable Miriam, who appealed to her male colleagues eyeing the speakership seat to step down for her, said over 55% of valid votes cast in the just concluded elections are women's. However, she pledged that her administration in the Green Chamber, if elected, will address the irregularities in some sectors of the nation through passing into law of people-oriented legislations with the view to dispel the ugly perceptions of the parliament created by the public. Benue State government has clarified its position on the enforcement of the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law in the state. This comes after the Benue State Security Council decided to suspend operations of the state livestock guards for 2 weeks. The governor's special advisor, media and publicity, Terve Akase, in a statement said the suspension of the livestock guards is only a grace period, which became necessary to allow for a reduction in the influx of cattle into the state. The governor's aide further stated that it must be stressed that the enforcement of the anti-open grazing law is still in full force and that anyone who flouts it at the expiration of the 2 weeks grace period will be apprehended and persecuted. The Nigeria Center of Disease Control and Prevention has recorded 846 Lassa fever cases across 99 local government areas in 25 states. The NCDC, in its Week 13 situation report today, said the suspected cases are now 4,338. However, the disease has killed no fewer than 148 persons in the country. With the current death toll, the agency noted that the case fatality ratio of the outbreak stood at 17.5%. The report also showed that the 23 new cases recorded from March 27 to April 2nd, 2023 were recorded from Bauchi, Ondo, Edo, Taraba, Ebonyi, Oyo, and Kebbi states. Lassa fever remains a major public health challenge as poor environmental sanitation, poor awareness, and late presentation of the cases are reported to fuel the epidemic in Nigeria. You're listening to the news at 1 on Splash 105.5 FM. Still to come, Egypt accuses Ethiopia of buying time in Nile Dam row. In sports, coach Ancelotti says Madrid versus Chelsea tie not over. We'll take a short break now. When we return, details of these and more. Stay with us.
Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ẹ má jẹ́ kó wo náírà titun àti àìlègbówó yọ yín lẹ́nu. Hope wà lórí fóònù rẹ, ìfẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀ta náírà wà ńlẹ̀. Torí náà, tẹ́ bá fẹ́ fowó ránṣẹ́ sí màmá ńlé àbí láti ra owó ìpè fún Àbíkẹ́ láti fún oníbàárà lówó àbí tó oníbàárà bá fẹ́ fún yín lówó. Hope wà lórí fóònù rẹ, ìfẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀ta náírà wà ńlẹ̀. Èèyàn mi, nọ́mbà fóònù rẹ ní nọ́mbà káàdì ATM àti nọ́mbà àkáǹtì rẹ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, gbádùn ayé ìrọ̀rùn pẹ̀lú Hope Wallet. Tẹ *569*9# lórí fóònù rẹ kó o sì yan Open Wallet. Tẹ àlàyé nípa ara rẹ síbẹ̀. Ló bá tán, o ti ṣí àpò ìṣúná rẹ nìyẹn. Hope PS Bank á wá fún ẹ ní ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀ta náírà ṣáńgílítì. Hope àṣeyọrí. Hope Bank nígbà gbogbo.
Ladies and gentlemen, please come around. Let me introduce you to Chief and his beautiful wife. They will fix you in a company where you will be working, give you accommodation, and pay you handsomely, especially if you're up and doing. You'll be fed twice. You know what? Follow that young boy. It will show you to your rooms so you can rest and prepare for the job ahead of you.
Thank you, Madam Cash.
You're welcome, Chief.
How these ones even look very strong. And I am sure they can do all kinds of job, including...
Chief, don't worry. Use them as you like. They have become your property. But don't forget where I'm called Cash Madam. The alert is very important, Chief?
Don't worry.
Stop human trafficking. These persons are humans like you. Let's end the crime against humanity. This message is from JDPC Ibadan in conjunction with Religious Sisters of Charity with support from Mission Kara.
Àbẹ́ ò rí nǹkan ẹ̀bùn pàtàkì látọ̀dọ̀ Ọlọ́run lọ́mọ jẹ́ fáwọn òbí tómi ọyàn sì jẹ́ ẹ̀bùn Ọlọ́run fáwọn ọmọ ó ní gbogbo èròjà aṣaralóore pẹ̀lú omi tọ́mọ rẹ nílò fún oṣù 6 àkọ́kọ́ máa fọ́mọ rẹ ní ọyàn nìkan rántí o omi ọyàn nìkan fún oṣù mẹ́fà àkọ́kọ́. Ìkéde yìí wá láti àkọ́ṣeṣẹ́ ARIN, iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us on the news at 1 on Splash 105.5 FM. Turning to the foreign scene now, Egypt's Deputy Foreign Minister on African Affairs has accused Ethiopia of buying time through negotiations while continuing to fill its disputed Nile Dam without an agreement. Ambassador Hamdi Sanad Loza, in a statement, condemned statements by Ethiopia that had accused Cairo of politicizing the Nile Dam dispute. The fresh row received mixed reactions in Egyptian local media as prominent pro-state host Ahmed Musa said Addis Ababa intentionally built the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam to harm Egypt and Sudan. However, opposition TV host Mohamed Nasser blamed the Ethiopian government and media for not taking a stronger stance against the issue. Meanwhile, Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt have been embroiled in a years-long dispute over the dam, which Sudan and Egypt fear would reduce their shares of water from the River Nile. Still on the foreign scene, Qatar and Bahrain have announced that they had agreed to end a long-running diplomatic feud and re-establish relations. You would recall that Bahrain in 2017 joined Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Egypt in imposing a diplomatic blockade in Qatar. According to Qatar's foreign ministry, agreement on the reconciliation was reached in talks at the Gulf Cooperation Council headquarters in Saudi Arabia. Bahrain's foreign ministry released a similar statement, revealing that the neighbors decided to restore diplomatic relations between the two countries according to the principles of the United Nations Charter. The Qatar-Bahrain reconciliation comes amid a flurry of regional efforts to resolve disputes. And finally, to sports. Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti has said that the Champions League quarter-final tie against Chelsea is not over. Goals from Karim Benzema and Marco Asensio earned Madrid a 2-0 win at the Bernabeu on Wednesday. Reacting to the first leg result, Ancelotti said his players will not be relaxed because anything can happen in football and they have a lot of energy. Real Madrid will play Chelsea in the Champions League quarter-final second leg on April 18th at Stamford Bridge. Meanwhile, Los Blancos have won the Champions League a record 14 times. That's the news. Before we go, here's a quick recap of the major headlines. Federal government approves 6.2 billion naira for maintenance of Third Mainland Bridge. Federal High Court clocks 50 years of justice delivery. On the foreign scene, you heard that Egypt accuses Ethiopia of buying time in Nile Dam row. In sports, coach Ancelotti says Madrid versus Chelsea tie not over. For details on the news, you can always visit the website on www.splashfm1055.com. Now, you can download the Splash FM mobile app on iOS and Google Play Store to listen live, get news updates and opinion poll. You can also report an event live to us through the iReport feature. To download, simply go to any of the stores mentioned, search for Splash FM 105.5 and then click to download. That's the end of the news on this hour on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station and the best radio station in the southwest of the country. The news editor is Tunde Olawuwo, assisted by Baba Tunde Moronkeji. I am Charity Jerome. Good afternoon. Thank you for listening.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station.